Elder Dallin H. Oaks, an apostle of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, today spoke of religious discrimination members of his faith experienced following California's Proposition 8. He compared it to voter discrimination African Americans suffered in the 1960s.
While our church rarely speaks on public issues, it does so by exception on what the First Presidency defines as significant moral issues.
Religious freedom is guaranteed in America. There are no laws to prohibit or require belief in any deity or no deities. You can believe whatever you want, you can worship in any way you see fit. When it comes to practice of religious belief, things get a little more complicated. Let's say the Church of AMD, you can thank them for the chip that rendered this video, wants to believe that the Intel Corporation is in fact run by demons and anti-seraphim. No problem. Protected by the Constitution. However, if the Church of AMD decides that to combat their competitor by sacrificing a number of virgins to Lord Silicon Monocrystal, then we have a problem. Because human sacrifice is both illegal and generally frowned upon. Similarly, if the Church of AMD took it upon themselves to partake in communion with pressed wafers of crystal meth, then they would be barred from the practice. Insert any number of grotesqueries in the name of imaginary friends.
When churches and their members, or any other group, speak out on public issues, win or lose, they have a right to expect freedom from retaliation.
The LDS Church complaining that it is being persecuted or suffering unwarranted retaliation is laughable. Did the Japanese Navy throw a hissy fit after the Battle of Midway? We just bombed Pearl Harbor. What's the problem? What, we invade Poland and suddenly we're the bad guys? England and France are persecuting us. Hey y'all, we just want to split the country. What the hell's your problem, goddamn Yankees? I exaggerate, but not without intent. The sheer staggering efforts, monetary and manpower-wise, to tip the vote in favor of Proposition 8 was simultaneously impressive and dismaying. I am all for gay marriage, but this is not my principal objection to the authors of opposition in this case. The estimates tend to run somewhere between $8 and $20 million contributed by the LDS Church to repeal gay marriage in California. I am nothing if not a pragmatist, and the sheer banality of such an investment defies all logic. Let's assume a conservative $10 million were donated by the LDS. How much money is that really, and could it not have been put to better use elsewhere? They could have purchased land and built a school from scratch. They could have donated it to fund research for breast cancer, a cure for HIV, or resources to combat malaria. They could have purchased more than 10,000 desktop computers for schools and libraries in underfunded districts here in America. Or they could have purchased 50,000 laptops from the One Laptop Per Child organization for children in developing nations. How about 3,300 tons of rice? That's 133,000 50-pound bags. How about 500,000 flu shots? That any organization, religious or otherwise, could so zealously pursue such a petty, counterproductive, and prejudiced course of action is appalling. It is worse than hypocrisy to say that you are pro-marriage and not anti-gay, which LDS spokespeople were fond of saying, and then commit such vast resources to a ballot initiative that is highly punitive in nature. Others have rightly pointed out that the church's involvement into secular affairs is not so much them sneaking over the wall between church and state, but blasting a hole through it with dynamite. There's a petition, which I will link in the sidebar, to have the LDS Church stripped of its tax-exempt status and forced to pay taxes for the money it committed into a political action. I encourage everyone to have a look and sign up if they feel so inclined. It would serve all religious people well to learn this lesson, that the abridgment and impedance of human rights and freedom is no more acceptable to a civilized nation than human sacrifice, and that forays into the political arena should come at great peril to those who would impose their misguided morality onto others. Take heed that others will not suffer under the pretentious whims of the LDS Church. There are a lot of starving children in the world that would have much preferred a warm meal or a life without blood parasites to the abuse of legal status imparted on those of us no less capable of love, and no less proud to declare it. Thanks for watching, everyone.